Hi there, it's Polly here. Ta-da! On a red hot day, which is why I'm drinking strawberry wine. Oh, well, whatever. Perth. So, there are many kind of re-imagings of Dungeons and Dragons on the market. Some of them just rewrite D&D. To such an extent that I wonder why they bothered, because you can get advanced D&D. It's just advanced D&D and those sorts of things often have many, many, many niggly side rules, so the rewrites do clarify them up. So, Mazel tov, thank you guys. There is one rewrite of kind of advanced Dungeons and Dragons that I do like and I do admire, and it is my preferred D&D style game. And it's called Castles and Crusades. And it's got enough differences from original D&D to be well worth a review of its own. So Castles and Crusades is by Troll Lord Games. Now, it comes in many beautiful hardcover books. The ones I'm going to physically hold up here are one of my favourite versions, where they did a white box version. So they've essentially done the same 3 books as original brown book D&D. One's how to do your characters and magic, one's your wilderness adventures, one's your monsters and treasures. And what I like about this, because it's kind of pocket size and it comes in a cool little box, convention portable, is everything that you're going to need. You can get, they've got like their wonderful hard copy books, and they are beautiful and they absolutely buy them. But also try getting this, because it just sticks in your shoulder bag and boom, you've got a role-playing game. So this game takes on from essentially advanced D&D. Uses many of the mechanics that you know and love, and it's got that entire setting. But there are the differences. They've made what they call an engine, rather sweetly called the Siege engine, which powers this thing. So characteristics in a 3d6 band, as we're used to, in strength, dexterity, wisdom, intelligence, charisma, the usual band of characteristics that we are used to. Character classes, they've got good ones, by the way. They've been very crisp and clear about when they've done things beyond just fighter, thief, cleric. We do have monks and druids and bards and that sort of stuff, but they're very clear about how they've done them. Nothing silly, nothing's overpowered. But the fun kind of comes with the Siege engine. So the characteristics all get you a bonus, and they're in what we connoisseurs of this kind of think of as the D&D 3.0 style. So you can get a bonus of sort of 0 to +3 to dice rolls due to the value of your characteristic. An 18 will get you +3. What is it? 17, 16 will get you +2. 13, 14, 15 will get you +1. And there are negatives down the far end. But you look at your character and choose a class. Now, each class has a primary characteristic. For fighters, it's strength. For clerics, it's wisdom. For thieves, or rogues rather, it's dexterity. Bards, it'll be charisma, etc. That is a primary characteristic. It's marked as such on your character sheet. You may choose a second characteristic as another primary characteristic. Now, that's kind of where the fun comes in. Let's say I'm going to go a rogue, and let's say I have a particular image of what I want to be. My primary characteristic kind of actually really influences this. Okay, so I'm a dexterity rogue, but am I a charming rogue? Is charisma my next primary characteristic? Am I a intelligent rogue? I'm the one that researches, does the traps, knows the lore. Am I... Wisdom is kind of also perception and so on. So am I a wise thief? I'm really good at sensing magic, resisting magic. My senses are really sharp, so I'm quite good at picking up on trouble. What am I? Now, humans may pick a third primary characteristic. If you're not human, instead, your race gives you a series of other bonuses. So they've sort of said, essentially, humans are generalists. Everyone gets a third bonus, but humans are a generalist, and that they express that as another primary characteristic. Everyone else has a series of abilities they get. So, for instance, if you go a dwarf, you get a stream of really cool kind of additional bonuses to saving throws against, like poison and these sorts of things, and bonuses fighting goblins and yada yada squee, the usual thing. And this goes between race and culture. You can make anything you want, and the basic rules have like the expected basic things, but the guidelines there for designing your own things. I want to go an elf, all right? I want to be a sea elf. Sea-going elves, mighty. Fine. You get a bonus firing these kind of weapons. You can do this. You can do that. You can swim. Whatever. This is your thing. Now, when you are asked to do a saving throw for something, you are rolling a d20, and you're going to get the number or higher in order to save from the situation, or use a skill that goes with that characteristic, because all of your saving throws are linked to a characteristic. So if you are trying to dodge an arrow trap, that's going to be probably agility to dive and roll out of the way. But if you're trying to resist a mind control spell, that's going to be like wisdom, but use your willpower to stop it. If you're trying to persuade someone, use a skill. I'm using my charisma to persuade this person. Yeah, you're doing a saving throw against your charisma to try and make it work. Now, it's an 18 or higher if it's not a primary characteristic. It's a 12 or higher if it's a primary characteristic. Once you go up levels, every level above 1, you also add 1 to your dice roll. And you also add the bonus from the characteristic. So let us say I had 18 charisma. We all know I've got 18 charisma. That's a +3. So if it is my primary characteristic, or one of my primary characteristics, I normally need to roll a 12 or higher, but I've got a +3 bonus just for the characteristic. So I'm rolling a 9 or higher. It's gone beyond 50% already, just for being smooth. So, you can build up some pretty good bonuses. When I'm a third level character, I'll be rolling a 7 or higher. So, that starts to go up. So, yeah, so it's a very, very handy system. It's used for characteristic checks, skills, the works. And skills are just kind of, they say if you want to, you can put a skill system in. They say don't. Bloody don't. Keep it more open. We know in general what your character can do, because the background that you've chosen will say that. If you say, I'm a seagoing piratey sort, I've kind of chosen a character, I've made it, and I've gone through some additional material. I've chosen like a swashbucklery character or whatever. Fine, I'm a seagoing pirate. All right. Do I know how to navigate a ship? Well, of course you are. You're a seagoing piratey sort. It's going to be a saving throw probably against your intelligence. Navigation's an intelligent kind of thing. So, that's the one thing I'm not good at. I'm actually kind of charismatic and agile, and I took Constitution so I wouldn't get drunk and fall over as easily. So, right, well, you're a pretty rotten navigator, but roll a dice and give it a throw. Always just roll a dice and, let's just see how you go. So it's very enabling. It gets you in there and playing, and so the background of the skills. I'm a druid. All right. Well, have I seen this kind of plant before? All right. Well, that's probably going to be an intelligence roll again, because you're trying to recall data. Yes, this is from a far distant land of such and such and so and so, but you do know about herbs, so we're going to let you roll quite easily against that. That's the kind of stuff that you might have a good chance of knowing about. A great system. It uses the usual D&D style armor class. It is an ascending armor class system. There's some nice little bits and pieces of trimming in there. So it has. Now, they couldn't get away with proprietorial D&D monsters, so you don't find beholders. I think some of the proprietorial ones there are like beholders. I think gelatinous cubes and things like that. So they're there, but they're under different names. But there's some nice stuff there. I like the fact goblins, in original D&D, goblins have for some reason, they've got 1 hit dice -1. So it's a D8 -1. So you could have a negative or a 0 hit points. You could have a dead goblin, technically. Or I guess it's a level 1 hit point goblin. They've just said, well, kobolds are a D4. Yeah. Orcs are a D8. Yeah. Goblins are a D6. Thank you. That's such an easy fix. There are some minor differences in a lot of the monsters. I have to say I like the Castles and Crusades ones more. They take a lot of kind of the weird niggly bits. In Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, you often got so many add-ons because someone's tried to put extra info because they've decided that you've got to have psionics in these bloody campaigns. And they put in all these extra abilities and things. Castles and Crusades whittles all that out, and you've got kind of the quintessential monster there. This is what's going to be useful to you, and kind of highlighting why some of this stuff is dangerous. So this is a grey ooze. What's unpleasant about it? What's unpleasant about it is that it'll destroy your armor. Even if you make a saving roll, it's going to start destroying your armor. Umpire says that's important. Thank you for highlighting that. So it's kind of D&D plus. They took out, let's hope I don't get demonetized. They took out the bullshit, put in these really great rules for allowing you to determine skill and attribute rolls, as well as rolling that through to the normal kind of saving roll thing to avoid poison gases and spells and all that kind of jazz. So saving throws are now proactive, not active. They are a thing that you do in order to utilize things and influence the game world. There's some great additional material. The artwork in the book is actually charming. It's kind of it's a soft pencil style, very curvaceous. I like it a lot. Get the player's manual, get the monster manual, get the DM's guide. They've made the traditional 3 books, and those have all of the character classes and everything. Great stuff in there. Beautiful. And this game runs so well. I cannot understress how much this thing rates as the best of the D&D redos. It's just so clear and runs so well. That siege system stays entirely within the spirit of the dice rolls of the original game, but it just provides you with this simple mechanic that just covers all the holes in the old game. Done with just that one simple thing. We took care of all of these holes. Now, the Troll Lord guys have a plethora of kind of setting supplements and so on. Now, here's where you have to be careful. They're not so good on this. There is a city setting for this called the Town of Callas. Now, I wrote that one, and I have to say it's my thing, but that was written out of love. I used to love the city-state of the Invincible Overlord, but it pissed me off somewhat because the information it gave you about any given place was what the hit points of the owner are, what his armor class are, and what money's hidden in the place. But it didn't make anything sort of interesting. So I wrote a city setting where everything's interesting. There's pubs with crazy drinks and crazy meals and rumors and events and pub fight rules. And, there's strange places to stay that have got, hidden crimes going on in them. And you can end up as part of the city guard doing this weird kind of Hill Street Blues thing, trying to keep the order on the streets. There's hidden piracy, and if you screw up in the town, if you get caught pickpocketing and all this sort of stuff. There's a pickpocketing table that I'm really proud of, actually. What you find when you pick someone's pocket. I do love one of them. It was like a membership card for the Leprosy Sufferers Association and those sorts of things. But when you get caught, it's like, because so many players do, you get given sewer duty. You're sent down into the sewers to basically clear blockages, but there's whole adventures down there where you're trying to basically give them big boat hooks and things and clear blockages, but there's monsters down there and there's smugglers down there, and so a great fun thing. So those sort of settings are fine, but I find in general the settings that they've written, they're kind of a bit hard to read. You have to thoroughly read this thing the whole way through to get an idea of what's going on. It's a bit of a strange style, and they've also done some adventures which again, it was like, this is sort of a dungeon bash, it's all right. I'd have done something to show off your system a bit more, but okay, Dungeon Bash is what people like, and they have done them by D. But they've done like a book on gods and so on. Don't use it. Flat out warning, don't use it, because a power player can cherry pick through and find stuff that gives them massive, massive bonuses. And they meant well. Let's have all these different Celtic gods and Roman gods and so on. But and they'll each give you, this one will give you a +2 bonus on this sort of weapon or whatever. But you can cherry pick your way through there and find some monsters. Don't use it. Really don't. It wasn't thought out too well. Essentially, they're lovely guys. they need to meet more total bastards. Total bastards will ruin well-intentioned supplements like this every time. Obviously, as an umpire, you can go through it and just say no and refix and put your own things in. But there's plenty of things there where it's like, oh, well, if you die, you automatically come back from the dead. Or you get to re-roll any attack roll you make that fails. What? You know, these sorts of things. Like, I think not. I think not, my friend. Did you mean once per adventure, or did you mean every time? You know? But they have done some setting-specific books. So they've got like a Chinese one that's coming out. They've got Celtic ones. They've got old German ones and so on. Those are definitely worth looking through for ideas. I've found, you know, I've been playing D&D for 50 years, and sometimes it's fun to have an actual setting that has a theme and a feel beyond this kind of generic medieval-y sort of thing. What is this? So I ran one for people, and this is essentially medieval Korea. It has a set social structure. This is the armor. This is the weapons. These are the monsters. This is the feel of it. You know, and it's good. People actually kind of get their teeth into a setting that's got a real theme. It's not quite so crazy and, you know, everything is in the one bucket. But there's also the worry. I don't quite know what this setting will throw at me. So, you know, it's often really nice to have that. So do check out their supplements for that. They've also got their own world called Airdrie. So they have some monster supplements just for the monsters for that setting and so on. So there's some unique stuff there, which is worth getting because, you know, it's generic bag of trick stuff that you can pull out and roll over into all of your other games. Now, like so many D&D redos, like so many D&D redos, you can use any old adventures, any Judges Guild stuff, any of the old TSR modules. They'll all roll perfectly into this. All the stats, you don't have to change anything. So you can just pick this up and play any old material. And, of course, anything from kind of newer editions of D&D, you know, 3, 3.5, etc. Pretty easy to convert over as well. You know, just bear it in mind. So this slots in perfectly. You can use anyone else's material. And like I said, it's got these mechanics that are just so useful. This game is definitely reviewer's choice. It's the D&D 2nd edition experience without the entanglement of ridiculous rules, without rules lawyership. It's clear, it's got modern design sensibilities through it, so it's very easy to read and access and use. This is good work. So yeah, Castles and Crusades. And like I said, try and get hold of the little white box version if you can as an additional, because it's not that expensive, and I just think it's very cool to have, particularly in this 50-year anniversary. Having a little a little tiny box game is kind of nostalgic. So anyway, as the trolls are, as the Troll Lord Games would say, hope you enjoyed the review. Do hit like and subscribe and all that sort of jazz. Thank you very, very much to all my patrons and so on. You guys make the channel run. I couldn't do it without you. Literally couldn't do it without you. It's actually an expensive channel to run, wackily. But thank you very much, because I enjoy doing them, and I really enjoy getting games out to those who need to see and need to know. Love the games community. Love you guys. Hope to see you around the gaming table. Cheers.